Hey guys, TechFi, and today I've got a review of the Endgame XM1 RGB. It's £60 or $70 at the time of making this video, at which price point it should be pretty decent. If you find this video helpful or enjoy it in any way, please consider subscribing to the channel, but obviously you've got to watch it first. So guys, let's get into this. Straight away from the unboxing experience, you feel like you've spent that extra bit of money. You do simply get the mouse and the startup guide, however it is very well packaged. The XM1 is a semi-ambidextrous mouse that isn't tiny, but by no means does it feel big. It's just 122mm long, 65.8mm wide and 38.2mm tall. As Endgame say on their site, it is usable with the three main grips, palm, claw and fingertip. However, I do feel it's very heavily optimised towards claw grip. I'll talk about that more in a second. For palm grip, I could use it fairly comfortably, and similarly with fingertip, however, with my hands which are 17cm by 8.5cm, I actually struggled a bit. It was just a bit wide and a bit big, I guess, but that's down to the person individually. Definitely larger hands should be able to fingertip this mouse fine. For claw grip, I think it's a great mouse. It's clearly very well optimised with the shape, and I really enjoyed it. In games, it was just the optimal shape and size and everything for me especially to use claw grip, and I really enjoyed it. It was very weird though, as it kind of forced me to stay in this claw grip, so when I was just browsing the web or things and I was still doing that claw grip I was using for gaming, it wasn't as comfortable. But for gaming, like I said, I absolutely loved it. I'm a huge fan of the shape, and I think I'm going to keep this mouse as my main mouse for when I'm playing games. One of the downsides of this mouse for me is it's 82 grams. I'd personally like it a little bit lighter. I don't need an ultralight mouse to be happy, but 82 grams was a little bit on the heavier side. That being said, while I was gaming, it didn't feel heavy or anything like that, and the sensor was very good and had a low lift-off distance, which I'll talk about in a second, and that meant it didn't matter too much that the weight was that little bit higher. In addition to this, the coating is also very nice. However, it is worth noting that it does pick up greasy fingerprint marks quite easily. Not that that's a really big deal or affects performance in any way. The sensor I was on about is the Pixar PMW3389, and it's a very responsive, very nice sensor. It felt really nice to game with, and I was very satisfied with the experience. It was consistently precise, accurate and responsive, and I really enjoyed using it. And like I said, the lift-off distance is very low, tracking up to a height of just 3 playing cards, making it noticeably better than the PMW3360, which is common in a lot of mice in the $50 range. It has a CPI range of 50 to 16,000 in 50 CPI increments, so obviously that upper end is more than you need, but you get plenty of customization in the lower sensitivities, and if you are someone who likes to play in a high sensitivity mouse, then it will certainly do the job for you. A huge plus side and selling point for this mouse is the primary mouse clicks, which use Kailh switches. I personally never used them before, and they're common on modified mice. However, they are as good as people say. I really enjoyed the experience with them and how they felt and how you could click them and just everything like that. I definitely recommend you give them a go if you get the chance, as there really is a noticeable difference between cheaper mice and cheaper switches. I was a huge fan of these primary mouse clicks, and it just made the mouse so good to use while gaming. Here's a sound test if you're interested of the left click and the right click. Similarly, the side buttons are also good. They're not going to blow you away, they just did the job. I felt they took about the right amount of force to use, so I was very satisfied with that. Personally, I use the side buttons while I'm gaming, just not loads. So they did the job for me. I didn't activate them when I didn't want to, and they were a decent size in my opinion, so I was once again a fan of the side buttons. The scroll wheel took some getting used to. Has a nice rubber feel to it, is very small and sits quite low into the mouse. I personally got used to it and quite enjoyed using it, and I had no issues with double scrolling. It was very clear between each step, and I really liked that. One thing I'm still not sure about is the click. It doesn't have much of a click at all. It's very quiet, which can be nice, but at the same time, sometimes you don't feel like you're clicking it. That being said, I didn't click it by accident very often. However, I'm still getting used to it. Here's a little sound test of the scroll wheel scrolling, and it's quiet click. The low friction PTFE skates are a very nice out of the box experience, and it makes many other stock feet feel absolutely terrible. I was a big fan of the glide and the precision you got with these feet, and personally I did really like them. The cable also gives that good out of the box experience. It was very loose, and it was a cause of no drag or pushback for me. I think to include a cable like this was a very good choice by Endgame. It doesn't mean you need to mod it, you can certainly get away with using the stock cable, at least in my opinion. This is the RGB version, and it does look very cool. So not only does the scroll wheel light up and you get the light bar and the logo, the light bar goes all the way round, which isn't common on other mice. Things like the Logitech G203 LightSync and Rival 3, which have an RGB light bar, don't go all the way around and look nowhere near as cool as this. It really glows out the sides, especially in the dark, and I really liked that about this mouse. The lighting was very vibrant and very cool looking. I definitely appreciate the RGB version, even if it has a little bit more weight, as it can look really cool in your setup. The software isn't amazing, but was polished enough to let me easily control all the buttons, lighting and everything I needed, so I have no issues with the software. On the bottom of the mouse there is a little button which can change the DPI, and you can use that in software to set corresponding profiles which will match the little two lights on the bottom of the mouse. This is a really nice feature so that you don't need the software to know what DPI you're on and change the different profiles. Not having a DPI button on the top between the mouse clicks is also something I like, as I never use it and I find it gets in the way and I just end up unbinding it. Overall, I'm very impressed with this mouse. Especially if you're a claw user, I highly recommend it, but for palm and fingertip users, it certainly does a good job too. Out of the box you get a decent cable and feet, which is very nice, and the sensor is absolutely amazing. In addition to that, the Kailh primary mouse clicks are a huge reason to buy this mouse. They feel really nice and allows you to experience them without having to do any soldering or anything like that. I personally am a big fan of this and will be using it as my main gaming mouse for the time being, until I find something else I like more. The only thing I do wish is that it was a little bit lighter. 82 grams is on the heavier side for what I personally like, but I can live with it since the shape is exactly what I'm looking for, it looks great and also performs amazingly well. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and even consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to look as cool as me, and I know you do, you can get yourself some merch at techify.co.uk/merch. For your next video, check out another one of my mouse reviews, something such as the glorious Model D-, which is a bit cheaper at $50 and has an ergonomic shape. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.